think it's changed somewhere. In Montreal.
Like it?
Same stuff, right?
I told you.
I love it. I can't wait for it.
Mic work? Welcome to LaFaro Center of the Performing Arts. Our first show, and it's a spring show, isn't it? Is this crazy? You know, I was telling people before, I've been snow plowing like 3 times as much as I need to, so because I was going to keep the yard open for parking. But now we can't use any of it because it's all night. So the point is, putting on concerts, you better just leave it to me. Don't try it. It's too much. So we have a wonderful show tonight with Bert Lams and Fabio Mittino. My wife and I went to see them, this duo perform together New Year's Eve, 2015. We traveled down to New York City for a house concert. Of course, I've seen Bert many times before. He's in a group called the California Guitar Trio. You may have heard of them. So it's really thrilling to have Bert back because Bert, as many of you know, was actually our first house concert here.
Wow.
And it was at that show when somebody asked me, so what's the name of this place? And I just kind of spit it out, the LaFaro Center of the Performing Arts. You know, naturally, it's the first thing I thought about it, like as a joke, but somehow it has stuck. You know, and so like when I see like famous artists say they're playing the LaFaro Center of the Performing Arts, and it's got such gravitas. And then I see it in the newspapers. It's like, wow. You know, so you're all part of something really special here. As you know, how many are here for the first time? All right, we got some newbies. This is great. Before we start our show, the one thing I always like to do is tell you about some upcoming shows. So let me start with, who was at the Brand X show? How awesome was that? Well, those guys enjoyed it so much that they want to come back. So we're scheduled right now for September 12th and 13th. Wow. And who was at the Robert Berry show? How great a show was that? Well, Robert called me up and says, I want to come back. He says, but this time he wants to come back with the December People.
Oh.
So the December People is his holiday show project, which includes Gary Field, who's, of course, the guitarist for Boston, and then is members of Sammy Hagar's band and a couple of others, and they do these every year. They generally get together and they do a series of shows, and so they want to play here.
Cool.
And then this next show, I'm actually not going to tell you about it, but I'm going to tickle your ass a little bit. I'm getting contacted all the time for shows, which is like really an amazing thing. So a promoter for what we'll dub a new Prague supergroup. Before they go on the festivals tour and other bigger venues, they want to play here. And you will know all the players. It's really pretty exciting. Longtime fan of the players in this particular band, but I don't have a date yet. We're looking at late June. So if anyone sees me on Facebook, you know that I post everything. So you will see something about it at some point if it actually does happen, and I'm very optimistic it will. So you may notice I got a little creative. And most of you probably know I'm actually in the middle of working on a book called Abandoned Vehicle New Hampshire, Rust in Peace. So when I get involved in the concept, I go all the way. So I've been collecting all this stuff and I'm thinking, well, what am I going to do with all this? And finally I figured out what I was going to do with all this. It's all been sitting around the barn, various juxtapositions. I've actually been collecting pieces like this because they're natural frames.
Yeah, I love it.
For a lot of the artwork, as you saw in the dining room.
Yeah.
So, but I wanted to do something special because we only have 2 musicians up here today, so I had a little room to play with. The last show in October, we had 10 people up here. So I hope this is a fun backdrop. You may see me in the front because not only will I be holding a beer, but I've got my camera, and then I've got
All your toys.
I've got all my lighting equipment. So
I think so.
come on, am I getting good as an MC for this stuff? Anyway, I hope Bert and Fabio have good health insurance because I don't know how stable this actually is. It's classical music, so I don't think, there's going to be too much jumping around up here, right, guys? Okay. Just stay a healthy distance in front. So anyway, it's my pleasure to welcome to the stage of LaFaro Center of the Performing Arts, Bert Lams and Fabio Mittino. All the way from Italy. One quick, because I always forget something. I want to thank my wife, who makes all this possible. And you should have heard us fighting about what are we going to serve the soup in.
I won.
Sort of. I'd also like to mention that Bert and Fabio have a number of CDs that'll be for sale after the show. And as you remember the drill, once the concert is over, everyone grab a chair, fold it up, lean it up somewhere, and open up the space. We'll put all the lights on, we'll hang out, mingle for a little bit. And then, I have a bonfire all set up out in the woods. It's only 10 feet tall. I actually didn't realize when I built it that I made it too close to a tree. So you're wondering what I was doing yesterday, honey? Well, both of my chainsaws are on the fritz, so I had to go out there and cut this tree down by hand. You'll see it laying there on the floor, but it's a lot safer out there now.
Oh my God.
This is a multifaceted night, and I'm glad you're all part of it. What's that? Anyway, let's get rolling.
I don't know where.
Thank you.
Don't move.
Wrong remote.
What's that? I'm all set. All right.
That is beautiful.
Thank you and welcome. Welcome to our third concert of a series of 9. We started out in Philadelphia 2 days ago. Fabio flew in from Milan on Wednesday or Thursday evening, I don't remember. And so we're playing here tonight. Very happy to be here. Tomorrow we're going to Manchester, Connecticut. From there we drive all the way to Kentucky, and North Carolina, and back through West Virginia, Washington D.C., and then we end 15 hours. 15 hours. We are playing a program of music by George Ivanovich Gurdjieff. He was a man who was born about 150 years ago from an Armenian mother and a Greek father, and he grew up in Alexandropol, which is former Russia, but now it is Armenia. And when he was young, he traveled for many years. He did a kind of a pilgrimage. He traveled around the world in search of deep wisdom, and he spent a lot of time in monasteries, holy places, spiritual communities. And when he came back years later, he founded a school first in Moscow, and later he moved that to Paris. And the school was based on the things that he learned during his travels. And he was one of the first figures in the early 1900s to bring the philosophies from the East to the West. You know, along with yoga and Tai Chi and other spiritual disciplines, he was one of those people that brought and made a kind of a synthesis of Western and Eastern spiritual disciplines in his school. He's also known for writing hundreds and hundreds of beautiful pieces of music. And we are going to play a few of those. And we are going, most of those pieces originated from his travels, his early travels. It was things that he remembered and that he was able to write again. And all these melodies that he picked up during his travels. This next one is a good example. This is a Kurdish melody.